and you cannot buy. Finding a way when you cannot see. Man with this system, he cannot pray. I need to find relief.
Welcome back to another episode of Peace of Mind, where we value our health, our body, and our time. And I got my boy BJ here with me today. BJ, talk to the folks.
What's good, everybody? My name is BJ Paintsil. It's my longtime friend, Christopher Clements. You know, we out here supporting.
Appreciate that. Coolio. So really, we're just chopping it up and having simple, cool conversation about BJ's, honestly, his creative vision, his mind, his creative brain, and his business, UNFZD, as well. He had a major large marketing campaign that looked really, really good, aesthetic-wise and product-wise, too, all of the above. So just wanted to, go through, memory lane and his creative process and flow about what that looks like, why he does that, the whole 9 yards. So, yeah, so
I appreciate that, too.
No, of course. You know, I'm excited, actually. I'm the most excited, to be honest. I guess the first question, just for the people and for me, since I'm representing the people, is why did you start UNFZD? Where did this come from? Give us a little brief synopsis of what even is UNFZD. How did the creation of that come about?
Right. UNFZD, I started it I had the name in my notes in 2018, okay. But I didn't really know what I was doing. I just always had certain ideas, and I thought about doing fashion. I thought about doing things when we were doing Elevate at school. I started thinking about I could do my own brand. And I could kind of do my own thing, because I felt like in school, I was known as being one of them folks that knew how to dress and have stuff like that. So I was
like the Beyonce of Destiny's Child.
I was if I felt if I could build that early, then it would be easy to kind of start a brand at some point.
Right.
I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Okay.
But I came up with UNFZD because I was always struggling with stuff mentally. Yeah. But I needed something that would be something quick. I felt like when people saw me, they never really could tell if I was going through anything that. I would just be
I can tell.
Cool, strictly UNFZD. I would be about my stuff.
UNFZD.
You know what I'm saying? So then I think it was also in 2020 where I realized that I wanted to use UNFZD as a way for me to escape or to tell my stuff and to speak up more about my mental health. 2020 was when I was going through the most pivotal parts of my life. Super toxic. I was suicidal that year. And when I was going through therapy, I started being able to be aware of how I could use my story to tell it. And I wanted to do it in a creative way. When I came up with the rugs, that was just I did it around my birthday because I knew that was when I would get a good amount of attention.
Love, engagement.
I was praying. I had that design
way
back. So then when I posted the rugs and it went viral, I took that as a sign from God.
To keep going.
This is something worth it. But now every time somebody tells me about the rugs and stuff, I'm I'm moved on. It was a cool thing that went viral, and shout out to everybody that supported that.
Right.
But even when I did the UGA stuff, I was doing things that wasn't really catered towards what I wanted UNFZD to be. I was just
it was just
you know what I'm saying,
and
stuff, really.
Random thoughts that came to mind.
Yeah, and I realized that now, when I did this first collection, I wanted to. That's why I archived everything off the page, kind of started over. And I still kept my old things, like Kobe T and all those stuff in the highlights, just so people can remember where we started.
The journey
but
of it all.
I cleared everything to make this as what I want UNFZD to be. When you look at UNFZD, this is what it is. So UNFZD is really just that notion of regardless of what life gives us and the obstacles that we're going to have. You're going to have obstacles regardless, right? So the whole thing is about real accepting the fact that you're going to have those obstacles and then keep pushing forward and literally just being unfazed by those things, and determination and grit. Even though as cliche as it may sound, that's what's going to lead you to the success. And you back that up with faith and keep God in the center of it all. You're going to be good. So that's kind of what it is. And the whole campaign now that I have, and if you check the bio stuff, it starts with you. So even the letter U in the beginning of UNFZD, it starts with you. Everything that you're doing begins with you. You overcoming begins with you. So that's really where I'm trying to push up now.
I like that a lot. He gave us the whole 9 on just the historical context of UNFZD. And honestly, side note, this is why I love podcasting and really interviewing my friends, talking to my friends, because BJ and I are very close, but we don't talk every single day. That's just the dynamic of our relationship. But I never even got the opportunity or knew of the meaning behind why UNFZD was unfazed or is unfazed, and even how it has so much personal demeanor to do with your brand. I feel that's what keeps you going in a sense as well too, like fulfills you and like the purpose, or even like some of those obstacles or challenges that you might be having that might be difficult. It's kind of like what keeps you motivated to keep going on like as time overall.
Yeah, that's really a big thing for sure, is that a lot of people that, like, I manage a lot of people's brands online, and I realized that one of the biggest things that kind of helps brands stand out the most is when you have a story to back it. Like, I remember, like, even when we were talking about what Misunderstood, how, like, that's one great, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has a message to it, so.
Because the relatability of things is really important in the world, to be honest.
If you make good garments, that's cool, but if you also have, like, a key message
that somebody can, like,
because imagine brands like God is Dope. Like, we all know that was a basic thing, but it was, and it went. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I wonder that they do is, like, I would hope that they kind of, like, use the money to pour back into the communities and stuff. That would be, like, a great way to build, like,
to turn it around,
So, because then at that point, people are going to support just off the fact that you're doing something like that.
In a religious and spiritual basis as well.
No, that's kind of where it is. Especially, like, there's a lot of brands nowadays that just do things, and you can tell that they're just doing it for the bread.
No, of course.
But the longevity is what I'm thinking about. It's
exactly, like, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, etc.
You gotta do that now. Like, if I did the rugs the whole time, I probably would have made a good amount of money, but at some point
it would have ran out. Yeah, no, for sure.
But luckily, I've been blessed to come up with, like, always have ideas. Like, this last drop, everything I did was catered towards, like, a message, like having the graphic of, like, who even are you? It was like about how I felt like I was in college, where especially like UGA, where I felt like I came in first with an identity that I wanted, but then I later found out as time went on that I changed my, like, ideas of what I wanted and what I wanted to do. Like, I wasn't drawing. I've always been, like, an artist as a kid, but I felt like it wasn't cool anymore, so I stopped doing it. In high school, I stopped doing it, and then college, I wasn't doing it. But UNFZD allowed me to go back to, like, my natural born given talents that God gave me, and to, like, use it in a way that appeases to our generation, which is, like, fashion and, like, clothes, things that I'm, like, in. So it's been really cool.
And I feel like it's just very resonating, very resembling, because I feel like you can also tell when people are putting, like, products or services out on the market what naturally flows and goes and what seems like it might have a little bit of resistance to it. And I don't know how much you realize it with being socially aware outside looking in, but, like, from my perspective and, like, other similar people's perspective, it seems like when you're combining your personal message with your product that it's organic. And I think that that's what people love most of all, because I don't think that there's nothing wrong with making money, but I think that when you're able to combine the money with your passions, that it just has a whole different level of, like, ambiance that, like, ties into it.
With this too.
Yeah, no, it is though.
You name the name the way it was.
I love to talk. I love to talk and speak, but, like, in detail, I really love, like, hearing people's stories, and I feel like everybody definitely has, like, some resonating thing of, like, wherever they started in their point of life, in their journey of life. So it's really cool to just get the opportunity to spend quality time with friends, people, business leaders, just all different types of labels, and learn more about them.
Yeah, I think it's pretty solid for that. Like, this type of things kind of, like, not only gives me practice in a sense, but I feel like I don't do a good chance of, like, I don't really do a good job verbally talking about what I'm just kind of creating. And
and you let the product speak for the message.
You know
I was thinking about that in the back of my head too.
I feel like this collection, I could have just went on there, did a video, and told people, like, what UNFZD is. I could have been on my page. Like, I feel like when we were, like, in college, I didn't care what I posted.
You were just doing that. Nah, probably though. You know,
I was just posting.
Just like what it is. This is what I'm thinking. This is what it is.
But now I feel like I'm getting older, and I can't help but think about the fact that certain things could be, like, screenshot.
Yeah, could affect other things. And I feel like that's difficult too, right? Because I think that there's a balance with certain things. Like, on one hand, there's authenticity, and then on the other hand, it's also like, you know what I'm saying? Professionally, being mindful, like, okay, like, you can be authentic, but if you post this, you need to be prepared for this or the outcome of that. That's how I even feel about LinkedIn. If I'm being honest.
I don't post on LinkedIn, but
I be so scared. I be scared though. I be making sure that I'm looking at every word and, like, okay, where's my balance between these two things? Because you just never know. Right. You really just never know.
I be scared to post on LinkedIn.
I'm not mad at you.
I be wanting to post on FaZe, but I don't.
I be wanting to post like small, short, like podcast clips. I talked to one person. It was like, Chris, I just don't know.
Oh, bro, it's so crazy over there. Like, But I think it's one of those things where if you feel so secure in your job, you would just do it.
Yeah.
If you felt like that.
Or if you feel like if you can't, some people get to the mindset, it's like, if I feel like if I can't be me or spread my authentic thoughts or like expressions, then if my job has a problem with it, then this might not be the job for me.
Yeah. It's but like that one dude, there's a dude on TikTok that kind of did that. I forgot his name.
Oh, you're talking about like DeAndre Brown or something like that got famous? That's what I'm saying. And it works.
It worked, bro.
It works for some people, though. I also want to be mindful, too, though. I feel like, and I would love to hear your thoughts, but I feel like people, stay with me. I feel like people are products as well, or people are marketable as well, because like, we, for lack of better words, choose who we want to be famous, who we want to be successful, whose products and services we want to elevate. You know what I'm saying? Based off of engagements on a consistent basis. So for him, I feel like for his niche area, he fit a market, and that's why he's like the representative of. He
was the one to do it.
Because he was the one to do it. But now, like, everybody can't just go tomorrow and out of that and be like, okay, I'm gonna go and do that. Like,
it's calm.
You know what I'm saying?
Once you start early and come at like. Even with the whole like the influencers and stuff, influencers are a wide magnet though. Influencers, anybody could do that. You just have to find a niche. Like people that focus on hair, they can really blow up on hair if that's something that they focus on.
Yeah, that's specialty.
And then somebody that focuses on clothing, they have to cater their influencer and stuff to that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, or even somebody with influencers where they do like Christian-based ones where they're giving out scriptures every day.
Yeah.
Like everything is very niche-oriented now.
It is niche-oriented.
Especially with TikTok, like, TikTok is one of those platforms. I wish I used TikTok a lot more. I feel like I hide myself a lot.
I agree, actually. I feel like you don't utilize the platform as much as like you could, and it would really go to a whole nother level. Because also, somebody that just reminded me, somebody that reminds me of you, I don't know if you know him. Do you know Brian? He also does like fashion. His name is like, I don't even know his last name. I would have to show you later. I'll show you later. But he kind of reminds me of you a little bit. But how did your recent campaign go?
Our recent campaign went pretty good. Got over 100 orders on that.
That's good.
It was really good. The first day I was like, it's always anxious when you do your first job. I looked at it like I started over. This is a brand new audience. I didn't look at anything like, I knew like, okay, a couple of my friends would like cop and stuff like that. Right. But I also felt like that year, 2023, coming out of school, I kind of drifted from like a normal community that I did have. I was like a parent. I felt like I was doing my own thing. I was just busy and stuff, But I was expecting like a lot. I was thinking about the money. I need to make a certain amount before I realized that wasn't what it was. That wasn't what I wanted truly. So now I started thinking about why I'm doing this. Once I kept thinking of the reason why I'm doing UNFZD, the messages that I'm trying to leave behind. Then the change of like not looking at the metrics, not looking at the money right now. Because now I'm not even focused on the money part right now. I'm just focused on being consistent, making good drops, and having good feedback. Because I know what my end goal is this year by my birthday, which I'm gonna keep.
Okay.
Well, I know.
We're gonna keep the end goal locked in a little bit.
But by then, like I'll come back.
Okay. And then you expound upon it.
But, like that's what I'm thinking about is farther down the line, stuff like that. That was just the first one, and I think I did pretty good on that first one. It was a good
That's good.
I feel like there was a good difference in what people see brands do. I went hard with the video. I went hard with the shoot.
I agree. It was very unique, very creative.
And I tied it back to God too. Like that's what I wanted to do. I think that now, like I've gotten closer to my walk with God, I started to realize what my purpose could be, or how much like influence I could have if I do it this way. So I'm like subliminally throwing messages that relate to me. Like every single shirt had like a verse to it, and pushing it so it's still back into UNFZD. Like the whole base of UNFZD is based on faith. So
the basis of UNFZD is based on faith. Dang, I love the duality of that. Of even like how you said that with kind of like the meaning in the beginning of like why it started off as being UNFZD too. Why do you? I have to turn this down.
Yeah, you could.
Like I couldn't even.
Do it.
I'm sorry. I just had to. Why do you not like saying what you want the vision to be or expect the vision to be until after you hit that milestone? Like, what is the logic behind that?
I kind of just like people to be. Well, it's specific to this milestone that I'm like.
Oh, okay.
It's because I want it to be like a gradual thing. I want people to be shocked on this one, so I have to do my. And I find it hard sometimes. Like I always want people to get like a little hint. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay, a little drop.
But I have to for this one specifically because it's a bigger purpose than me.
Okay.
So
bigger than that.
I will say that like my plans is like my next drop. I plan on dropping either March or April.
So stay tuned.
So stay tuned for sure.
Stay tuned.
The marketing on that is still gonna be crazy. I just want to be recognized as somebody that's like really knows what he's doing. Like a storyteller. I just want to be recognized as being able to tell stories.
So how do you measure that?
I measure that from first execution and output, but then also I'm gonna be measuring it from this past drop if there's been a growth. Like from people coming to the page or
from product to product.
Yeah, or even now what's gonna be interesting is more so folks that follow me, folks that saw that I did a drop and didn't support it, if they're gonna come back the second
and support it the next time. Do you keep up with those folks who?
Oh, I do.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
I keep up with it.
I do
because I think that that one I looked at it specifically because I want to give. I got something for all those folks for sure because it was something that was like brand new. It felt like it was like I looked at those like
No, I'm listening.
I looked at those as like my first group of people. And I mean,
as your first cohort.
Yeah, my first cohort. In a sense, but I'm always like, I know, I just want to keep it like growing.
Yeah.
The page grew up like almost 800 followers and stuff off of the drop. So
that's good.
But that was like no TikTok video. That was straight Instagram.
Yeah, that was straight Instagram. So once you start incorporating some of those other like media pieces and elements, that's gonna be a whole another avenue of people. Yeah.
Right.
Nah, I agree.
What I'm trying to do right now. But yeah, that first one was what I was, because I felt, like I said, like I felt like it was a brand new start for me. Like anybody that even looked at it, like interacted, all that, like those are the people that I'm like, I appreciate a lot. Like, especially like with businesses, bro, you can get so caught up in like beating yourself up and stuff like that. And I'm definitely one of those people that is very hard on myself. Like I know that when I'm putting things out there, it has to be like the best, right?
Yeah.
Like I want people that like went to school with us and all that to be like, damn, like
that was
DJ snapping, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like motivation.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you ever give yourself praise or grace or appreciation? Like, where is that in
I think that
the journey?
I think that when I get certain feedback, like looking at the DMs and stuff like that, people being happy about the product and people leaving me message about like, like the who even are you thing really related to them and really like, I like that. That makes me really know that like I'm doing this.
And is it people in general or is it certain people?
It's just random folks.
Okay, it doesn't have to be somebody of like
that know
status.
Me. Yeah.
Well, I mean like.
Oh, like a popular person?
Yeah.
Oh, nah. I even prefer really when it's like somebody that I don't know. Like it would be somebody random. And the cool thing about having a business is like when you see random orders from different areas that you're not from.
Yeah.
Like craziest order I got
and seeing the reach.
Yeah, like the crazy order I got was New Zealand, bro.
Wow. That was pretty tough. Like how did it get all the way over there?
Yeah. And it's just
that is cool. I like that.
It's just people being able to still like resonate with what you're trying to put out there is a great feeling to just know. It's like a pastor putting out a sermon, and even if it was 5 people that he touched, like he's still gonna feel good knowing that those 5 people.
I agree.
He lit a match in them. So it's kind of the same way that I am too.
And have that transformation of someone.
Bro, because when you really
put it in perspective,
you put in perspective, like let's say I was shooting for the stars, I'm on 1,000 orders, right?
Right.
Even if I got 100, like, I'm cool with that 100.
Yeah.
Because that's 100 people, bro.
That you've impacted, that you've touched.
Don't even know these folks.
That you made an impression.
They spent their bread on me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree completely. And another way to look at that is an investment in you too, of like what they like, what they see.
Exactly. And I
think
that they're going to always like see what's next. Like, right now it's about, I feel like everybody that's looking at failing right now, it's more so like what's next.
Yeah.
And that's really
what's
up
next?
to me.
Yeah. No, I like that. What are some of the hardest parts about Unfazed, or some of the challenges and obstacles that you might go through, or some of the things that you've seen throughout this journey, and how are you like tackling those or like experiencing that element too, because like I'm hearing a lot about the positive, the optimistic, which is good. That's the mindset to have, but nothing is perfect, right? So how are you adapting to the challenges as well?
Some of the biggest challenges I'll be having is really like myself. I might look at it sometimes and feel like I'm not doing enough, or feel like I'm not pushing, I'm not focused on the right things. Like, I'm focusing about the money, like stuff like that. Really is like a cause and effect. Like while I've been on like my walk with God and stuff, I've been really trying to be purposeful with everything I'm doing. So I don't want to put like money to it, but it'd be hard. Like, oh dang, I gotta like. I don't want to use so much of my own personal money to like keep the business afloat. So then it's still like, you know, everything you need money.
For sure.
But I just want to make sure I'm still like, I don't forget about the reason as to why I'm doing it. Because a lot of times I feel like we all doing certain things just to stay in the stability standpoint of like finances, like even jobs that we work in. I'm the owner and stuff, and I'm like going to like an award show or something like that about my brand. It's going to be me representing it. So if what I'm doing and what I do out in the community doesn't align with what I'm pushing, like it's really a conflict of interest.
It is a conflict because they should be integrated, intertwined with each other.
So that's why I feel like one thing that I and focus, like what I'm doing is just running my own race. Like I'm not really looking at what somebody else is doing, paying attention to this brand. And some of the challenges that I always have is like,
that's difficult.
There's so many fall in and you can kind of fall into like, dang, I gotta drop this. I need to get this
on that. Somebody's on this.
And then that's where you get lost in the sauce, right? And that's what I think that I'm really overcoming, and what's going to help my brand really take off this year is that my drops that I have planned for this year, they're designs that I made a year ago. So everything that I do is not like it's been new to me. It's been old. It's been new to like when I show people. But I think that's what separates it a lot, is that it took me time and to like realize what I was going through in the designs that came out. All my designs and things I come up with, it happens from like something going on in my life. To like be able to tell that story.
And that's your value proposition of what nobody else could take away, nobody else could copy, nobody else could replicate, what nobody else could steal. And that's what I love.
Because like when I did this last collection called Joy and Chaos, it was designs that I had in 2020 where I was the most suicidal and the most like struggling with my mental health, but I still had joy in it. Like I still knew there was going to be a sunlight at the end of it. At the end, like bro, that was a year where I was supposed to like, I realized where I was going to be delaying my graduation. There was things like that was like get in your head, and I was like, you know, but I was still having fun. I was still throwing parties. I was still, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I knew that it wasn't. There's no way I'm going to be like
just out and down,
just down for the rest of my life. At some point, joy will come, and I think that was like the biggest things about like walking with my faith of God, is that as like somebody that's like really a true believer, I know that God would never fail me. So why should I be...
Especially when you're putting your faith in
You know what I'm saying? Like, why should I be worried? That's what I want to push with UNFZD.
There's some scripture that I see all the time. Who by worrying can add a minute to his life or something like that. I love that scripture every time I see it, because it's honestly like it's simple and true.
The biggest takeaway would be to run my own race. And what I mean by that is I felt like, and I'll get a little vulnerable. I felt like when I moved to Georgia, I didn't know who I was at all. Like I felt like I came to a whole different environment. And if y'all don't know, I'm from Minnesota, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota.
Crazy, right?
So when I moved here, bro, I'm a young dude wearing New Balances, wearing moccasins and stuff like that, and I come to Gwinnett County, where it's way different vibe. Like whoa, where they just start roasting. And this was before like people loved dark skins again. Like they did not like dark skins back then. So I was getting called all the black jokes. So then it really built me into like I honestly, like, bro, from those moments where I was like kind of getting bullied, you would say, it just made me be so confident in myself to where I couldn't care less what somebody said about
somebody's opinion.
And it kind of, I think as I got older and I got more confident, like my looks started getting better to where I really felt like, I'm good now, you know what I'm saying? And then I knew I was always like creative in a sense of, really just goes back to just like running my own race and like the fact that everybody's doing their own things. And even though like there's so many creative people, like one benefit I'll say like in Atlanta is like there's so many people that just do it instead of kind of waiting, and it kind of makes you think about a lot of like what you could be doing. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest parts that we find in our generations. Everybody gets so they look at like what everybody's like, oh, I could have done that, you know, but then they don't really do it, but they still compare themselves so much.
Yeah.
And I think that I felt in that kind of puddle a little bit when I did the rugs and all that. I knew I had a really good idea, but what was struggling for me was like maintaining that and kind of like really realizing what I was doing it for. Like I lived a lifestyle of just like flexing, having all that money and all that.
And it wasn't really fulfilling.
It wasn't even what I was raised on.
Yeah.
So then I started like realizing I had a lost identity, and that's kind of where I put into the whole, who even are you? Like, you know, at the end of the day, like you have to really like.
And I love that you said that. Just real quick, because like how you said, you lived a lifestyle of like flexing and all of that, or like the verbiage of that. And I think, hear me and feel free to push back, but I think people think that's wrong. And I'm really big on like, as long as it's not malicious, it's not hurting somebody, you're not trying to like harm or diminish somebody in a way, like try a lifestyle out, see if you like that, see if you like something that's in your system or in your day-to-day life. And if you don't, you realize that's not fulfilling, like change it, switch, like adapt, you know what I'm saying? Because I think like people like me and you and just other friends that we know, like you now will probably go and tell like one of your siblings or one of your close friends, like I live like the flexing lifestyle and the third, like don't do that, don't do this. But like if you just take a second to think, if there anything remotely close to like where you were or how you were, me now I'd be like, I don't necessarily recommend that, but if you think that's something what you want to do, go ahead and try it quick, fail fast, and get back up. That way you're not wasting a lot of your time. Because I know if something is on my heart, I'm like, I need to try it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm hearing you advice, okay, wise guy, but let me see. And I realized that about me, and that helps me because it's like, okay, let me try it well, but let me try it quickly. And if I like it, I love it, I had a different story. If I don't, then
because at the end of the day, it's gonna teach you something. That's a good perspective to have for sure. Like, I think now like that changed my perspective. I probably will never like tell somebody don't do that in a sense, because
think about a day BJ, you know what I'm saying, or anybody.
Because my dad was doing that to me. He was like, oh, don't do. But then I was like, I had to see it for
yourself. Some people have to get burned by the fire for them to realize it's hot. You know what I'm saying?
I felt very bad, but that stuff created stuff in me. Like me having that experience to be like, dang, I went through this. And now I got up, like you said. It ties back into the brand that I'm behind. Unfazed is it's like a reflection of me as a person. So whatever I feel like I'm doing in this world is what people are going to see. Because if I'm the creative director, and I think that's really what's been cool. What I got blessed with is that when I came up with the name Unfazed, I didn't really see the bigger picture that was about to be. But as I'm going through this walk and going through my journey of life, certain scriptures really resonate with the brand, and it's so easy. Like I always thought about how am I going to kind of spread the gospel, and I have a huge opportunity to do it with this. It's like I can always bring
that's really good and really creative.
In the sense, it's just like when you wear this, just know like you're blessed, bro. Like don't ever feel like you can't get over something. Don't ever feel like you can't overcome something.
You don't have support for something.
Because trust me, like it's all the way of God melding you to be able to be a vessel to tell somebody the story. Because that's what I feel like I'm doing right now. I'm just being a vessel to spread the story, bro.
Source of light.
You know what I'm saying? We are the light of the world, they say.
We are. If they could take one thing from this podcast, if they could take one thing from this episode, what would you want them to remember? What would you want them to know? Signed by BJ, aka Unfazed.
I don't want to say stay unfazed. But
you can though,
but I would definitely say like the talents that God has given you is really important for you to multiply on it and to continue pushing towards your dreams, because you're almost kind of looking at God as if he shouldn't have gave you that talent. He knew what he was doing when he made you, in a sense. And in the Bible, it was a story of how one person was supposed to multiply their talents, and then God kind of scolded the person that didn't and buried their talents. Keep multiplying. So it's the same sense where I feel like even though I did go through certain things that kind of robbed me of like drawing and putting out my artwork and stuff
Yeah.
like that, I still had another chance to do that.
Yes.
If it's a talent of yours, it's not going to ever
It's
really
not going
leave.
to go away.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Because what is for you is for
always
you.
for you.
Yes.
So that's kind of where
yes.
it's like where I leave it. At the end of the day, it starts with you. Like unfazed, being unfazed, being an overachiever, success. Everything starts with you. Starts with you getting up in the morning and choosing to be grateful for what you have and not focusing on those things that you can't control. At the end of the day, you can only control what you can control, and that's getting up and choosing to chase your dreams. All the other outside noises, voices, all that, those are gonna come. But at the end of the day, it's just you at the end of the day. It's you in the mirror. It's your life, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Literally your life.
So
live it.
you gotta live it, honestly. But that's what I leave it with, man. It starts with you.
Starts with you. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Peace of Mind, where we always value our health, our body, and our time. And I got the wonderful pleasure of talking to my boy, interviewing my friend BJ. And until next time, we out.
Yo.
This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way when you cannot see. Man with this system, he cannot pray. I need to find release.